Your tomato plant looks perfect. Green leaves, thick stem, maybe even a few little yellow flowers. And then nothing. No fruit. Or worse, the bottoms turn black and mushy, and weeks of effort just rot right in front of you. Here's the hard truth. Growing tomatoes in a container is not the same as growing them in the ground. The pot changes everything. The water, the roots, the feeding, and one small mistake can quietly kill your entire harvest before you even notice something's wrong. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 7 mistakes you must never make when growing tomatoes in a container. And these aren't random tips. Every single one is a silent plant killer that even experienced gardeners still get wrong. Now pay close attention to mistake number 5, because it's the most overlooked one on this whole list. It's the exact reason people grow huge, leafy, beautiful plants that barely produce a single tomato. Miss it, and all your effort goes to waste. We're going from the most common mistake all the way to the deadliest, so stick around to the end. And before we dig in, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a grow guide. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1, the pot itself. Here's what most people don't realize. A tomato is not a small plant pretending to be big. Its roots can run 2 feet deep and just as wide, sometimes more. So when you tuck it into a cute little decorative pot or one of those small nursery containers it came in, you've already set it up to fail. A small pot holds less soil, and less soil dries out fast, exposing the plant to temperature extremes and rarely holding enough nutrients to support a heavy crop. So your plant gets stressed and runs out of food right when it needs it most. Then there's the part nobody warns you about. Once the plant is loaded with fruit, a tiny pot gets top-heavy and topples right over. Snapped stems, spilled soil, season over. So here's the fix. For determinate or bush types, go with at least 10 gallons. For indeterminate varieties, the tall, sprawling ones, aim for 15 to 20 gallons, roughly an 18 to 24-inch wide pot. When in doubt, go bigger. You'll never regret too much root space. And honestly, my favorite option is a fabric grow bag. They're lightweight, they breathe, and they maximize soil volume while keeping weight down. But here's the catch. The perfect pot means nothing if you fill it with the wrong thing. And that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 2, filling that beautiful big pot with the wrong soil. This one feels harmless. You got a bag of garden soil, or you scoop some dirt straight from the backyard, and into the pot it goes. Free soil, right? Except here's what's actually happening underground. Garden soil is built for the open ground, where worms, roots, and weather keep it loose. But the moment you pack it into a container, everything changes. Garden soil becomes compacted inside pots and blocks proper drainage. It turns dense and heavy, squeezing out the tiny air pockets roots need to breathe. Water can't move through it, so it just sits there, and now your roots are stuck in a cold, soggy, airless block of mud. That's exactly how you get root rot and a plant that slowly suffocates from the bottom up. So here's the fix, and it's simple. Skip the garden soil completely. Use a quality, compost-rich potting mix made for containers. It stays light, it drains the way roots actually need, and it holds nutrients instead of locking them away. And, just as important, check the pot itself. Make sure it has large holes in the bottom so excess water can drain out. No drainage, and you'll drown the plant no matter how perfect your soil is. Get this right, and your roots can finally breathe. But there's one daily habit that ruins more container tomatoes than almost anything else. Real quick, if this is already saving your plants, do me one favor and tap that subscribe button. It's free. It keeps these grow guides coming all season long, and you'll never miss one. Okay, back to it. Mistake number 3, the way you water. Remember those black, mushy tomato bottoms from the start of this video? This is where they come from. And here's the frustrating part. Watering seems like the one thing you can't possibly mess up. But in a container, it's the single easiest way to lose your whole crop. Let's break down both ends of it. Overwater, and you flood the air out of the soil. The smaller space makes it easy to overwater, creating soggy, anaerobic conditions that lead to root rot. And a drowning plant looks a lot like a thirsty one, droopy and yellow. So people panic, water even more, and finish the job. Now the other end. Let the pot bone dry, then drench it, then let it dry out again. That roller coaster is what triggers blossom end rot. Too little and inconsistent water, and you get blossom end rot. When moisture swings wildly, the plant can't pull calcium up steadily, and the fruit pays for it. Those sunken, black, leathery bottoms, ruining tomato after tomato. So here's the fix. Aim for soil about as wet as a wrung-out sponge, and check the moisture every other day in hot weather. Push a finger an inch into the mix if it's dry. Water deeply until it runs from the drainage holes. Consistency beats quantity every single time. Nail this, and you've cleared the deadliest beginner trap. But you could do everything right so far and still get a weak, fruitless plant. If you've made mistake number 4. Mistake number 4. Not giving your plant enough sun. This is the one thing a tomato simply cannot fake. You can fix your soil, you can dial in your watering, but no plant on earth can manufacture sunlight it isn't getting. And this is exactly where container gardeners get quietly sabotaged, because our containers usually live on balconies, patios, and tucked up against walls, spots that look bright to us, but only catch a few hours of real, direct sun. So here's the threshold. Tomatoes thrive with at least 8 or more hours of sunlight. Give them too little, and their growth gets stunted and they start to wilt. The plant won't die dramatically. It'll just stretch tall and leggy, reaching for light. The stems go thin and weak, and flowering crashes. Fewer flowers means fewer tomatoes, sometimes none at all. And here's the fix where containers actually win. Find the single sunniest spot you've got and put your plant there, even if it's not where you pictured it. Because it's in a pot, you can chase the light, slide your grow bags around through the day or across the season to grab maximum sun. And in tight urban spaces, a light-colored wall or reflective surface nearby can bounce extra light right onto the plant. Now, this next one is the mistake I warned you about at the very start. Mistake number 5. Mistake number 5, the one I told you to watch for. And if you've ever grown a tomato plant that looked absolutely incredible and gave you almost nothing, this is your answer. Here's the trap. You want a healthy plant, so you feed it. You grab a general fertilizer, maybe October 10th, tin, or some leftover lawn feed, and you keep dosing it. A lot of new gardeners make exactly this mistake, reaching for October 10th, tin across the whole garden, and putting far too much nitrogen around their tomatoes. And the plant responds. It grows tall, thick, deep green, lush. It looks like the healthiest tomato on the block. But here's what's really happening. Too much nitrogen drives excessive leafy growth and delays fruiting. The plant pours all its energy into foliage and quietly stops making flowers. The clearest sign of too much nitrogen is a plant with lush leaves, but little or no fruit. And sometimes the blossoms simply drop off. So you end up with this big, beautiful jungle of a plant and barely a tomato in sight. This is the single most overlooked mistake in container growing, because it doesn't look like a problem. It looks like success. So here's the fix. Early on, a balanced feed is fine. But once flowering begins, nitrogen needs drop. So shift your focus to phosphorus and potassium. Switching to a fertilizer higher in phosphorus and potassium encourages flowering and fruiting instead of endless leaves. Feed consistently, but feed correctly. Fix this, and your plant's energy finally goes where you want it. But here's the thing. Even perfect feeding can't save you if you pick the wrong plant from the very start. And hey, if mistake number 5, just explain your last harvest, do me a quick favor and tap that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more growers making the exact same mistake. Appreciate you. Now, mistake number 6. Mistake number 6. Growing a tomato that was never built for a pot in the first place. Here's something most beginners never get told. Not all tomatoes grow the same way, and the type you choose decides everything before you even plant it. One of the biggest mistakes gardeners make is choosing a variety that simply isn't suited for a small growing area. Tomatoes come in 2 camps. Determinate types, the bush and patio varieties, stay compact, fruit, and then stop growing, which makes them easier in pots. Indeterminate varieties, on the other hand, keep growing and eventually run out of room in a container. In the open ground, that vining habit is amazing. In a pot on a balcony, it becomes a tangled, top-heavy nightmare that overwhelms your whole setup. And that's the trap. Beginners grab whatever tomato looks good at the store with no idea which type they're buying, then wonder why it's flopping over the railing by July. So here's the fix. For containers and balconies, pick compact, container-friendly varieties like Patio Princess, Tiny Tim, or Bush Early Girl. And if you want a sauce tomato, Roma types work well too. You can still grow indeterminate varieties in pots, but only with strong support and a larger container from the start. Which brings us to the final mistake, the one that can wipe out a whole plant in a single afternoon. Mistake number 7, the deadliest one on this list, and the one people ignore until it's too late. No support and no pruning. Here's how it destroys a plant. Tomato plants get heavy and need support to stay upright. Keeping them up improves airflow and boosts yields, while plants left on the ground become vulnerable to disease, critters, and pests. So once your plant is loaded with fruit and nothing's holding it up, it collapses and sprawls across the soil. The moment those leaves and fruit hit the dirt, the clock starts ticking. Disease creeps up into the plant. Pests move in, fruit rots where it sits, and the tangled pile chokes off airflow, which is exactly how fungal disease spreads like wildfire. One unsupported plant can rot out in days. So here's the fix, and timing is everything. Add your cage, stake, or trellis right when you plant, not later, using cages, trellises, or stakes. Wait too long, and you'll damage the roots forcing it in. Then, if you're growing an indeterminate type, prune the lower leaves and pinch off the suckers so the plant stops pouring energy into stems and leaves. It also opens up airflow underneath. And don't forget the pot itself. In wind, a tall fruiting plant can tip the whole container over, so secure it to a railing or brace it. And that's the 7th and final mistake. So let's bring it home. Pick a big enough pot. Fill it with the right potting mix. Water consistently like a wrung-out sponge. Get full sun. Feed it correctly once it flowers. Choose a container-friendly variety. And support and prune it from day one. Nail those 7, and you go from a sad, fruitless plant to pounds of homegrown tomatoes from a single container, even on a tiny balcony. If this helped, I've got a full container tomato grow guide waiting for you right on screen. Go watch that one next. I'll see you in it.